You're dying, but no one's coming to your funeral. Because your death isn't loud, it's quiet, like the way you silence your alarm every morning and whisper to yourself, just 5 more minutes. 5 minutes turn into 5 years, and one day you look back and there's nothing there. No body you wanted, no career you dreamed of, no backbone anyone respects, just a man who looks like you, but inside, he's nothing but a hollow shadow. Procrastination is the most deceptive form of self-sabotage. It convinces you you're still in control, when in truth, you're moving to the rhythm of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of starting and facing the possibility that you're not enough. But let me be straight with you. It's not that you're not enough, it's that you're too cowardly to start. Don't look left or right, no one's gonna save you. Your problem isn't lack of time. It's lack of courage, lack of discipline, and a lack of pain deep enough to make you change. And if you're about to scroll past this video the same way you've always scrolled past yourself, fine. But don't be surprised when your life stays just as miserable. What you're about to hear next could change the way you see your entire life. Hit subscribe, like, and stay with me, because the final minutes will be the most important. You think procrastination is harmless? Just a do it tomorrow and forget? A small delay that doesn't matter? No, procrastination is decay. It doesn't come like a storm, it erodes you like acid, one day at a time. It doesn't destroy you with a bang, it breaks you in silence by killing off every chance you never took. And the worst part is this, you know it, and you're still doing nothing about it. The Stoics called this akrasia, a divided soul. When your reason says, act, but your instincts whisper, wait a little longer, and you obey your instincts. You surrender. You schedule a workout, but you open Netflix. You sit down to write a business plan, but end up scrolling through Facebook. You tell yourself you're getting ready, but you're just lying to yourself. A man can lose to others, but once he starts losing to himself, day by day, minute by minute, that's not failure anymore. That's spiritual suicide. You don't need someone to kill your future. You're already choking it to death with laziness wrapped in excuses labeled being prepared. What makes procrastination so dangerous is that it doesn't hurt right away. It's like early-stage cancer. You feel fine until there's nothing left. No belief in yourself, no motivation, no one's respect, not even your own. A Stanford study once showed that kids who could delay gratification, marshmallow test, were far more likely to succeed in school, work, and relationships later in life. This wasn't about IQ. It was about inner strength, the ability to control yourself. And that's what you've been letting rot away for years. Now look at all the small things you've been putting off for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. Losing weight, starting to invest, learning a new skill, writing that first book, reaching out to your father after years of silence. Every maybe later you buried is a slap in the face to the man you once wanted to become. You say you lack motivation. The Stoics never talked about motivation. What they talked about was discipline, daily practice, waking up each morning and reminding yourself, today, I will not let weakness steer the wheel. It's not that you don't know what to do, you're just afraid of how bad it will feel to start. You're afraid of being awkward, afraid of looking like a beginner. But here's the truth, you will never grow past weakness if you keep dodging the pain that growth requires. Procrastination is choosing long-term pain to avoid short-term discomfort. And modern men are addicted to that fake sense of temporary safety, like it's heroin. You wear masks called I'm calm, I'm busy, I'm thinking it through, when deep down, you're drowning in guilt and paralysis. Epictetus said, we are not disturbed by events, but by the way we think about them. And you think you need more time. No, what you need is a punch in the mouth to snap out of it. Procrastination doesn't just keep you from achieving what you want, it steals the man you could have become. Every day you delay, you're teaching yourself, I can't be trusted. And if you can't even trust yourself, who the hell will? Look in the mirror. What do you see? A strong man or a shadow living off his own illusion? Don't answer yet. In the next part, we'll dive into why you've grown this week and why Stoic philosophy is the only path that'll pull you out of that darkness. You don't procrastinate because you're lazy. That's just the surface. The deeper, darker truth is this. You're scared. Not scared the work is too hard, not scared of massive failure, but scared of something more subtle and relentless. The fear that you're not as good as you think you are. You procrastinate because you don't want to face your real self, the guy who doesn't know where to start, who isn't sure he can pull it off, and worst of all, who doesn't want to admit he's not special. It's easier to dream than it is to begin and realize you're just average. Stoicism calls this akrasia, the split between reason and action. You know what's right. You've probably made detailed plans, set alarms, taken notes, read dozens of books, but in the end, you still don't act, because knowledge is easy. Action? That means facing the beast within. And let's be honest, you've never beaten it. You've just been bargaining with it your entire life. You're not procrastinating because you don't have time. You're procrastinating because you've got too much emotional baggage. Fear of being judged, fear of seeing yourself weak and exposed. A man sitting alone in his room, knowing he needs to restart his life but opening YouTube, email, or Facebook instead, he's not an idiot. He's someone who lost faith in himself a long time ago. Be real with yourself. How many times have you made that serious plan to finally start something? Start blogging? Get in shape? Wake up early? Call your father after years of silence? How many times have you told yourself, this time will be different? And how many times did you fail to follow through? Each one of those moments is a knife in the back of your own self-belief. And after enough cuts, you stop believing. Now you don't just fear messing up. You're convinced you'll fail again, just like always. Not everyone has the patience to watch until the end. But those who do are always the ones who go further than the rest. If you're one of them, subscribe and like. We're on the same team. That's the moment your spirit starts to fracture and you don't even notice. You keep smiling, going to work, acting fine around people. But inside, you're a mess of disappointment, frustration, and shame. That is the root of procrastination, the loss of belief in your own will. So you start rationalizing everything. I need more time to prepare. Now's not the right moment. I'll do it when things settle down. Those excuses might sound reasonable, but all they are is armor for your fear. Seneca said, "It's not that we have too little time, it's that we waste so much of it on the worthless." And procrastination is one of the most worthless things you could ever spend time on. It doesn't build anything. It doesn't make you stronger, smarter, or happier. It just helps you feel a little less guilty right now and kills you with regret later. Here's the truth no one likes to say out loud. Procrastination gives you instant comfort, but it's a long-term poison. You feel better not doing what scares you, but the price is your self-respect. And when a man loses his self-respect, he has nothing left to live for. Men procrastinate because no one taught them that willpower is a muscle. If you don't use it, it withers. They wait for inspiration to strike, but no one feels inspired when they're scared. Inspiration doesn't coexist with fear. It only shows up when you act, even if you're trembling, anxious, or exhausted. So stop waiting to feel ready. You'll never feel ready. You must act in order to become ready. And every single action, no matter how small, is a punch in the face of the procrastination monster inside you. Stoicism never teaches you to wait for the right feeling to move. It teaches you that feelings are unreliable and that only action is a true measure of character. You don't need confidence to start. You need courage to take the first step while you're still scared. And if you're still sitting there making excuses, stalling on what you know you need to do, then at least admit this. You're not living like the man you once promised you'd become. But if you can face that truth, you've already made it halfway. Because from here, we're going to talk about how Stoicism brings you back. Not by soothing you, but by slapping your mind awake. And that slap is what's coming next. No one can save a man who refuses to save himself. No motivation is strong enough if your mind is still soft. And no philosophy can change your life if you treat it like entertainment instead of letting it burn through your soul until you can't sit still anymore. Stoicism is not for men who want to hear something pleasant. It doesn't pat you on the back and say, just try your best. It throws you to the ground, pins your head down, and asks, "Are you living like a real man?" And if your answer is, "I'll try," it spits in your face and says, "Then die," because the world doesn't need another half-assed coward. Sounds harsh? It should, because life is harsh. No one's waiting to see if you were almost there. No one's counting how many times you almost changed. The world only sees results, and if you have nothing to show, then to it, you don't exist. Stoicism begins with a brutally simple truth that most refuse to accept. You don't control the world, but you do control yourself. The problem is, you've forgotten that. You think you're a victim of circumstance, of time, of your emotions, of the people who hurt you. You believe that since life isn't going your way, you have the right to delay, the right to complain, the right to do nothing. Wrong. Marcus Aurelius, writing through sleepless nights on the battlefield, said, "It is your actions now that define you, not your feelings, not your thoughts, your actions." He was the most powerful man of his time, and he still trained discipline until his last breath. And you? A modern man with comfort, opportunity, knowledge, and you still can't lift your ass off the couch to start something small? You don't need more advice, you need a wake-up call. So here it is, every second you procrastinate, you are killing your character with your own hands. You think procrastination just slows you down. It doesn't. It strips you of grit, credibility, and sharpness. A man who keeps his word to himself doesn't deserve the trust of anyone else. Doesn't matter how well you speak, if your actions are hollow, you're just another soft-talking fraud dressed in knowledge and rotting from habit. Epictetus said, "Don't call yourself a philosopher. Live like someone practicing philosophy." If the Stoics were alive today, they wouldn't blog, post pretty quotes, or make motivational videos. They'd stand in front of you, look you in the eyes, and ask, "Why the hell haven't you started yet?" And you'd have no answer, because deep down, you know they're right. Stoicism doesn't teach you to suppress your emotions. It teaches you to control your reactions. When you're tired, you don't wait for motivation. You act through the fatigue. When you're uncertain, you don't beg for clarity. You move forward into the fog. That is strength. That is the foundation of real freedom. Doing the right thing even when it doesn't feel good. The biggest mistake of modern men isn't a lack of talent. It's the belief that emotions should decide actions. No, discipline decides action. And discipline only comes when you understand one truth. Action is a moral duty, not a personal preference. Every morning you open your eyes, Stoicism doesn't ask, "How do you feel today?" It asks, "Can you carry the weight of the rest of your life today?" If not, you do something until you can. If yes, you carry it like no one else will. That's the brutal compassion of this philosophy. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just believes you'll get stronger if you practice. Every time you choose action over emotion, you forge another layer of armor. And one day, you'll wake up, look in the mirror, and see a man you actually respect. And that's the only thing that really matters, self-respect. No one can give it to you. No one can teach you how to feel good enough. You have to live good enough. So stop writing another to-do list. Stop waiting for Monday. Stop expecting someone else to push you. It's just you and your discipline, or your slow death in procrastination. This video is a wake-up call, but only you know whether you actually heard it, and if you did, it's time to act. You don't lack time, you don't lack talent. What you lack is the courage to face the lies you've been repeating to yourself every single day. And now I'm going to expose each one of them, not to make you feel worse, but so you can no longer hide. Lie 1. I'm not ready. Sounds logical, right? But it's a trap. You think you need to be ready to start, when in reality, only by starting do you become ready. What exactly are you waiting for? To feel confident? For everything to be perfect? For life to settle down? Trust me, that day is never coming. The world wasn't built to accommodate your fear. It was built for you to overcome it or be crushed by it. There is no in-between. Lie 2. I need more time to prepare. How long have you been preparing? 6 months? 2 years? A decade? Are you really preparing, or are you just staying busy to avoid the sting of failing? Stoicism doesn't focus on preparation. It demands practice. You can read every book on earth, plan down to the last detail, but if you don't act, you're just a pretender wearing the mask of someone who gets it. Lie 3. I need inspiration. You know who lives by inspiration? Children. Adults, especially men, live by duty. You don't need inspiration. You need habit. You need an invisible whip that snaps whenever you let emotions take the lead. Stop lying to yourself that one day you'll wake up fired up and ready to do everything. That day doesn't exist. Inspiration comes from action, not the other way around. You don't get inspired to work. You work so you can feel alive again. Lie 4. I don't have the right conditions. What conditions are you talking about? Money? Time? Connections? Do you think Marcus Aurelius had extra time to journal while leading troops in war? Do you think Epictetus, a crippled slave, waited for ideal conditions to start philosophizing? No, they acted because they knew nothing mattered more than living rightly. And you? You're waiting for a new laptop to write, a nicer gym to train, someone's permission to start? Sorry, you're waiting for a miracle to justify your cowardice. Lie 5. I don't want to fail. Nobody does. But fearing failure doesn't kill you. Refusing to act does. You can fail 100 times, and as long as you stand back up, you're still in the game. But if you sit there saying, I'm afraid to mess up, congratulations, you've achieved perfect failure without lifting a finger. Stoicism doesn't teach you to avoid failure. It teaches you to face it as part of a life worth living. Every failure is real. Procrastination is just emptiness. Now stop. Reread every one of those lines. How many of them have you said? How many times have you sold yourself those same excuses? How many times have you seen the truth and still closed your eyes? The only real reason you haven't acted is because you chose not to. Don't blame anyone. Not the times you live in, not your education, not your childhood, your boss, the weather, your DNA, or your mood. There is only one person responsible, you. Stoicism never permits a man to live like a victim. If something happens, they ask, what is my response? What's within my control? And that is the dividing line between a grown man and a boy in disguise. One takes responsibility, the other casts blame. You have the right to feel tired, to feel pain, to feel overwhelmed. But you don't have the right to use those feelings as an excuse to stand still forever. The world owes you nothing, and no one is climbing down into your pit to pull you out. Especially if you're the one who tied yourself down and called it destiny. So if this makes you angry, good. It means you're still alive. It means there's still a part of you that wants to rise up and tear down every excuse that's held you back for far too long. The only question is, what will you do with that anger? Because in the next part, I won't be exposing excuses anymore. I'll be pushing you to the edge, and you'll either rise up and fight or back down and choose to remain a shadow for the rest of your life. You already know you're procrastinating. You already know why. You already know your excuses are garbage. The only thing left is, how much longer are you going to keep being a coward? Don't pretend you're still thinking it through. The truth is, you've thought enough. You've analyzed enough. You've read, you've listened, you've planned. But you still haven't acted. Because it's not knowledge you lack. It's pain deep enough to make you move. So hear this clearly. No one is coming to save you. No video will act for you. No philosophy will rise in your place. It's only you, and that one brutal decision you've been too afraid to make. What are you waiting for? Another year to go by so you can blame life again? Blame someone else for not helping you. No one owes you anything, and you have no right to expect anyone to believe in you if you won't even believe in yourself. Act. Right now. Do the thing you know you need to do. Make that call you've been avoiding. Open the file that sat untouched for 3 months. Train. Write, sell, clean, study, do anything, something that proves you're still alive. And when you're done, come back here. Drop a comment, I've started. No details, no bragging, just one clear statement that says, you're no longer the shadow. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.